All right. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or good night, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. Thanks for joining us on the Daily Drive podcast. My name is Bro, and we've been talking this week about how God uses tough things we go through to bring about ultimate good in our lives. Now, if you've missed any of the episodes, I'd encourage you to go back and check them out. We've been hanging in the promise of Romans chapter 8, verse 28 and 29. Let me read it again. And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them. For God knew his people in advance, and he chose them to become like his Son. We've been talking about how God is working behind the scenes, in the dark, even when we can't see it, to bring about good in our life. And his definition of good is whatever makes you and me more like Jesus. And if that could happen to you and me, man, talk about good. We've listed so far about 5 or 6 good things that suffering can accomplish in us. And today, I want to add this one. Suffering expands our hearts toward other people. Suffering just has this way of expanding our hearts, expanding our compassion. It has this unique way of breaking down barriers of wealth, education, race, class, gender. I mean, everybody sitting in an ICU waiting room or a funeral home or a divorce court is sailing in the same boat through the same rough waters. To go through painful things, to suffer, it doesn't mean you're cursed. It means that you're human. I mean, we are in this broken, toxic, groaning world thing together. I like the way Ann Voskamp, who has gone through so much loss in her own life, so eloquently puts this. She says this: suffering cracks the heart to tenderly see and truly stand with the ache of all humans. Suffering lets the soul see the deep suffering around us, see the deep suffering within us, and see the suffering Savior who deeply absorbs all suffering and carries us home where there is no suffering forevermore. See, personal pain can increase our capacity to reach out to other people in their pain. I mean, the resume of every effective counselor includes suffering. God recycles that pain, and we can actually become these wounded healers. And I know so many people who are like that. And you know what? Someday you're going to find yourself. You're going to find yourself sitting across the table or across the living room or the locker room with someone who needs somebody exactly like you to be sitting there because you've been where they're at. And in that moment, you're going to think, this is so cool. I never dreamed that God would use my pain to help somebody else. I can't believe the way he is using me in this moment. I am so grateful. This guy named Paul, who went through unspeakable tough stuff in his life, wrote this in 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 4. God comforts us in all our troubles so that we can comfort others. When they are troubled, we will be able to give them the same comfort God has given us. Listen, God never, ever wastes a hurt. He recycles it for good in some way in someone else's life. And he wants to do that in and through you today. Now, there's a ton of ways that suffering accomplishes good in our lives, but I want to wrap this up tomorrow talking about one more very, very significant one. So come back tomorrow and hope you have a great day, and be on the lookout for somebody that could use a compassionate friend like you today. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.